The African continent is very important to stainless steel. It's a developing continent, and as such we've got vast reserves of agro processing, food and beverage processing. We've got oil, petrochemical. All of these require stainless steel in the refinement and beneficiation. In addition to that, we've also got the situation of the mining and mineral rights, which, particularly in underground applications, require considerable quantities of stainless steel. With the lack of investment confidence in South Africa, there have been many projects cancelled and or postponed until such confidence revives, and therefore I would say approximately 80% of our fabricators business at the moment is over our borders into Africa. During the year of 2017, I travelled extensively in Africa, pretty widely, from as far as Cote d'Ivoire down to Mozambique. And it became evident that the key focus for 2018 would be firstly Mozambique, which would be the liquid natural gas plant up at Pemba. I've advised the government that we want to go back there in June, and we will go to Maputo to see the key decision makers, and then up to Pemba to see the developments in the port of Pemba. The offshore site was signed off by ENI on the 1st of June this year, and I feel that Anadarko will actually sign off on the onshore part in August, and this has been supported by Deloitte. Other than that, you've got to look at Kenya and Tanzania, and that's predominantly agro-processing, food and beverage processing, and water and sanitation. The other one which we are considering is Madagascar. And in partnership with the South African government, the Malagasy government have identified key projects that need doing on the island of Madagascar. Such things as abattoirs, food and beverage processing, dairy processing, none of which currently exist on the island. All of this would be stainless steel. However, they've had to apply to the World Bank for funding for this. The initial phase has now been approved, but that is for the development of infrastructure on the island, because in order to fabricate and develop these other aspects, the infrastructure's got to be available to transport things around. So the first phase now, second, third quarter, will be infrastructure, moving into the stainless steel portion later in the year. The number one thing when moving into an African country as a South African is to make contact with our consulate or our embassy. The reserves and the support we get from our embassies in the African continent is phenomenal, and it's also a very good stopgap. If you run into a problem in that country, you've got that fallback situation. The handing out of business cards has become quite a prestigious thing in Africa, and therefore if you don't have a business card, you really aren't at the same level of the person you're dealing with. So it's always important to have sufficient business cards to hand to everybody at a particular function or meeting. Third point I would say is make sure that your brochures are translated into the language of that country, and you understand very clearly the cultural norms in that country, so that you are interfacing with the people on their grounds, on their basis, rather than as a South African. I think those are probably the most important points I would have for anybody going into Africa.